And now, let us move on to Ford's operational challenges and actions taken. Running a business is a difficult task. You will occasionally face operational management issues that will force you to reconsider your company's strategy, pivot your organizational objectives, and refocus your priorities. Stay ahead of the most frequent operational management difficulties for any kind of businesses so that you can meet your objectives on time and within the budget. So, as we say, operational challenges are innate. The first operational challenge of Ford is managing overhead and cash flow. Ford, like other manufacturers, have a high share of relatively fixed structural expenses. Fluctuations in industry sales volume can have a significant impact on their cash flow and profitability. This is the most common issues that the businesses deal with, and it can be fatally damaging to any businesses if they will not keep this in track. And what are the actions taken by the Ford? First is they do more restructuring. Last year, Ford launched a big $11 billion reorganization project that would move the company's focus to trucks and SUVs. And second is dealer profitability. The company Ford anticipates that the growing trend will continue throughout the year. And this has been expressed by the Ford that keeping dealership is one of their biggest problems in China. But the company has taken some steps to address this issue, and about one-third of its dealers in China are now profitable. Second challenge is the weak sales. The performance of new or current goods and services in the marketplace is influenced by a variety of variables both within and outside of our control. Because consumer preferences might shift fast, our new and old items may not produce enough sales at high enough prices to be successful. And this has been the question of every business. What happens when a competitor has a distinct advantage that you feel you cannot overcome? And somehow this is what Ford feels. And what is the action taken? They keep up with the competition. The Ford's ability to successfully grow through investments in mobility and electrification is dependent on a variety of factors, including technological advancements, regulatory changes, and other unforeseeable factors that may have a significant impact on the future of autonomous vehicles and mobility services. And obviously, Ford is a truck company and its market is doing well in the North America, in US. It has been good at lining up pickup trucks, SUVs, and in fact, in the United States, truck sales increased 8.8% in the third quarter. And the third operational challenge is the union strikes and suppliers. As recently concluded by UAW strike against General Motors showed that a strike can severely hurt Ford's operation in areas where its workers are unionized. According to the CNBC, the UAW strike cost GM almost cost $4 billion after a 40-day strike, and that if a similar strike happens to Ford, then the Ford will be severely harmed as well. However, that's not the only potential risk that Ford faces from its unionized workers. Members of the union will get pension benefits among other things, and if Ford cannot afford to pay these benefits, then Ford will have to reduce its expenditures in other areas. And aside from that, Ford mentions that many parts that are used by Ford's vehicles come from a single supplier. So if anything happens to these single suppliers, then that can severely slow down the production of Ford vehicle. Then that will hurt the company's bottom line. What is the action taken? Well, Ford is doing the acceleration of cost-cutting plan. The Ford Motor Co. unveiled a strategy to slash costs and increase profit margins at a quicker rate than previously promised, including the discontinuation of classic sedan models in North America that have proven more unpopular with consumers. And according to Ford Chief Executive Jim Hackett, he told investors, the company investors, that it's undergoing a profound refocus of its operations and may exit unprofitable business. And this has been, again, responding to a shift in a consumer demand to SUVs and pickup trucks. And now that it has a sporty Mustang, which debuted 50 years ago this month, and a new compact crossover called Focus Active, which has started in 2019. And now let's move on to the fourth operational challenge, which is the trade wars and protectionism. The US is currently trading, but the US is currently embroiled in several trade wars with several different countries. And this can have an adverse effect on the firm's bottom line. For example, Ford mentioned that the US government tariffs on foreign goods can increase the cost of doing business for Ford, and this will ultimately make Ford's car more expensive, which isn't good for both Ford and consumers. Furthermore, Ford is extremely worried about political events like Brexit, which aims to take the United Kingdom out of the European Union. And the UK is knowing the fact that it's a major market for Ford, and Brexit will severely harm its business in the UK. In fact, Ford estimates that if a hard Brexit, which is a Brexit where the UK leaves the European Union without a deal, it happens, then Ford may lose up to $1 billion in revenue a year. So, but there's no much Ford can do about this issue. But fortunately for Ford, this issue will affect the Ford competitors too. And the action taken for that, there would be legal compliance. They have to keep abreast on federal, state, and local rules that influence their sector and their business. And this is the important element of any managerial training. That is how you understand state and federal employment laws like that, or the legal issues for which for, for sure the board managers may be trained, including the laws that is basing on the discrimination, the workplace safety, termination of employment, and so on. And next operational challenge is the lawsuits, governmental inquiries, or negative publicity as a result of suspected product flaws, perceived environmental concerns, or other factors. And what has been the action taken by the Ford? Again, legal compliance. Because a legal compliance means that Ford invested much in assuring compliance with government safety laws, mobile and stationary source pollution rules, and other criteria. And the purpose of this type of compliance is to prevent legal liability on part of the business by ensuring that they have already and truthfully complied with the laws. Next would be the operational systems, security systems, and vehicles could be affected by cyber incidents. Ford relies on information technology networks and systems, including in-vehicle systems and mobile devices maintained by suppliers, to process, transmit, and store electronic information critical to the functioning of our company and cars. Regardless of security measures, Ford is vulnerable to disruptions, outages, and breaches in first, the operational systems that includes business, financial accounting, product development, consumer receivables, data processing, or manufacturing processes. Second is the facility security systems, and the third one is in the in-vehicle system or the mobile devices. So what has been the action taken by the Ford? Again, it is legal compliance. Because Ford is subject to laws, rules, and regulations in the United States and other countries concerning the acquisition, use, and security of personal information of customers, employees, or others, including laws requiring us to notify regulators and impacted persons of a data security breach.